brownfield, and they reduced the brownfield to 1,204,000 and some change. Then the planning commission recommended that it goes to the to the city commissioners, with the exception of the traffic study. They wanted the traffic study to be reviewed because the city engineers for Royal Oak said that's a bad spot. So now they not yet, but they took that traffic study that Sheets gave them, which is going to be biased for them, and now they're letting a company called OHM review the traffic study. So they required a peer review on it. But I still think it's a done deal. I do.
Well, if they are working on it,
I hope not. And look, we'll be 4 for 4. Because look, Farmington Hills down, Livonia down, and Richmond down. Are you familiar with that? Are you familiar with Cotton? Do you remember when they had the restaurant called Arbor? Yeah. I used to eat there like 3 or 4 times a week.
there was a lot there.
And then they had Arbor, because they were owned by the same people, Joe and Sharon. I can't believe it's changed so much over there. Oh my God.
I have no idea.
I would say Eroditis is not good.
Well, your name badges don't match who you are, so you might want to change your thing there. It just wouldn't look right. It's just the little things, but they matter. Yeah.
All right. Welcome, everybody. How's everyone doing tonight? Good, good. I see we have some Boy Scouts here tonight working on that badge. Yeah, what troop are you guys from? 1634. All right. Well, thank you for coming out tonight. Hopefully you learn a lot of cool things about how local government works. Or in some people's opinion, how it doesn't work. We'll see. Appreciate everyone coming out tonight. I'm going to call the Monday, April 14, 2025 Royal Oak City Commission meeting to order. We're going to begin with an invocation given by Commissioner Herzog, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I ask that you stand if you can, please.
April is recognized as Earth Month, marking 55 years since the inaugural Earth Day celebration. This month provides an opportunity to raise awareness and inspire actions aimed at protecting our planet from environmental harm and pollution. It serves as a reminder to value the natural resources that sustain life and to champion a healthier and more sustainable future. Lyndon B. Johnson, the 36th President of the United States, reflected, "We must not only protect the countryside and save it from destruction, we must restore what has been destroyed and salvage the beauty and charm of our cities. Once our natural splendor is destroyed, it can never be recaptured. And once man can no longer walk with beauty or wonder at nature, his spirit will wither and his sustenance be wasted. If future generations are to remember us with gratitude rather than contempt, we must leave them something more than the miracles of technology. We must leave them with a glimpse of the world as it was in the beginning, not just after we got through it." And Pope Francis reminds us, we must not be indifferent or resigned to the loss of biodiversity and the destruction of our ecosystems, often caused by our irresponsible and selfish behavior. Because of us, thousands of species will no longer give glory to God by their very existence. We received this world as an inheritance from past generations, but also as a loan from future generations, to whom we will have to return it. Yet all is not lost. Human beings, while capable of the worst, are also capable of rising above themselves, choosing again what is good, and making a new start. Royal Oak has a long history of environmental stewardship. In 1930, Myron Zucker, a parks commissioner, created a policy that stated all children will have an access to a park within a quarter mile of their homes and without crossing a major road, and we now enjoy 51 parks. In 1976, Royal Oak was awarded the Tree City USA designation and have earned the Yes, that's right, thank you. Every year since. In 1990, the Solid Waste Board was established, now known as the Environmental Advisory Board. And for the past 35 years, the board has been invaluable in educating, advising, and advocating for environmental efforts in the city. In 2002, a group of young residents, known at the time as the Bee-Tweens, advocated for the designation of Bee City, USA, inspiring us all to do our part for a more sustainable future. The same year, the Royal Oak Sustainability and Climate Action Plan was adopted by the City Commission. This community-based effort is being embedded in the city's policies, activities, initiatives, and culture. Royal Oak is at the forefront of environmental sustainability in Southeast Michigan. It is undeniable that driving force behind our success is the people. Environmental sustainability and commitment to our future generations are fundamental priorities for the City Commission, city staff, residents of all ages, business owners, visitors, and everyone who plays a role in making Royal Oak a vibrant community. I take pride in our forward-thinking decision-making as we strive to address the needs of the present without compromising the ability for future generations to meet their needs. The challenges facing our city are complex and at times threaten our core values. We may not always achieve perfection or act swiftly enough. However, I firmly believe that working together, we can confront these challenges directly and create a greener, healthier, safer, and more sustainable Royal Oak for future generations. Happy Earth Month. That was long. Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Excellent and very educating invocation, Commissioner Herzog. Thank you for all your work that you do, especially the expertise you bring to this table with your doctorate and your professionalism with environmentalism. So grateful to have you on board, and thank you for that. All right. We got a couple proclamations to give out tonight that fit into the spirit of that wonderful invocation we just heard. So the first one we are going to do is a Earth Day proclamation. And I believe Mr. Gantina from our EAB is here. And other members of the EAB, come on up. Very proud. Hey, Julie. All right. All right. It really is a privilege to read this proclamation, and it's great to have you guys up here to be able to receive and accept it. So this is a proclamation designating April 22nd, 2025 as Earth Day in Royal Oak. Whereas in 1970, the first Earth Day in the United States was held on April 22nd, chosen because it was between spring break and finals. The first Earth Day was designed for college campuses around the country to have teach-ins highlighting the importance of clean air and water in response to a 1969 oil spill in Santa Barbara, California, the brainchild of U.S. Senator and environmentalist Gaylord Nelson. And whereas an astonishing 20 million people took to the streets for the first Earth Day and led to the creation of the Environmental Protection Agency and Congress signing into law the Clean Air Act in December 1970. Within 20 years, Earth Day became an international event to spotlight the ecological challenges that face our planet. And whereas Our Power, Our Planet is the theme for Earth Day 2025, everyone around the globe should unite behind renewable energy to obtain the goal of tripling the global generation of clean electricity by the year 2030. And whereas rapid deployment of renewable energy will combat climate changes, preserve biodiversity, protect ecosystems, and eliminate our dependence on fossil fuels. And whereas residents and business community members are encouraged to take action by educating, learning the facts, spreading awareness, and inspiring action, advocating, writing your local, state, and federal legislators to demand action, mobilizing your community through meetings and initiatives, and pledging your Earth Day action on social media for Earth Day 2025. And whereas the City of Royal Oak is committed to meeting the goals of Earth Day 2025 by providing education through our community programs, resolving to proclaim our intentions to advocate for change, mobilizing through our Environmental Advisory Board's leadership to employ sustainable and renewable energy initiatives. Now therefore be it resolved, I, Mayor Fournier, and the members of the Royal Oak City Commission, on behalf of the entire Royal Oak community, do hereby proclaim April 22nd, 2025, Earth Day in Royal Oak, and urge all members of the community to do their part to help and heal our planet by living each day more sustainably. Thank you. All right, any words from the AAB?
I guess I'll just make a few brief comments. I think Commissioner Herzog's invocation summed it up pretty well as to why this is so important. I think I'll speak for our group here. We're grateful that we have a city and leadership that prioritizes sustainability, because I do believe that is one of the things that makes our city as strong as it is. So thank you.
Thank you. How about a round for the AAB? All of our community boards really do a lot of work, and they spend a lot of time making our community great. We can't do it without a strong volunteer corps, and we're just grateful for not only the work that you do, but all the wisdom you impart on this commission and all the advice you give us that has led to meaningful change in this community over the years. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I add one thing to that too?
Yes.
On April, I have more to add. Tonight. Very exciting day for me. So April 26th is the Oakland County Earth Day that Royal Oak will be hosting here at the Farmers Market from 3 to 7. So I hope that you all come out for it. Did I say that wrong?
No, I just said you stole my thunder. I was going to talk about it.
Keep saying it. People remember.
April 26th.
Farmers Market.
Farmers Market, Oakland County Earth Day. And you'll hear it once again at public comment.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Can I say something?
No.
The AB has a terrible picture of the city commission in them inside their annual plan. Maybe we can all take a picture right now to make that a little bit better for next year.
Well, we don't have a full group, but we can certainly take a picture.
It'd be better than what we have.
All right.
Kula was cut out the last picture. So.
Everyone's looking in a different direction.
Sorry, did you mean all the commission?
Yes. They just got a proclamation. We should celebrate this.
Now, Commissioner Polo, you've already hit 2 of your requested talking points. You only have 1 more.
I'm going to say the same thing with meetings and getting out of the background. See, this is what camera look at? See, this is why it screws up.
I got you guys. His face is covered.
Good?
Got everybody.
All right. Thank you, guys. All right, I have another proclamation for Arbor Day. There's a guy named Bob Muller. I don't know if you guys know Bob Muller. Everybody knows Bob. He's famous and infamous. That is a true statement. So Bob serves on our in the Royal Oak Nature Society, does a lot of work in the Historical Society, and we're going to be presenting this and hopefully, based on all the things you do in the city of Royal Oak, you'll be happy to receive this proclamation, Bob. This is a proclamation designating April 24th, 2025 as Arbor Day in Royal Oak. In recognition of Royal Oak's commitment to ecological stewardship and its designation as a tree city by the Arbor Day Foundation, the Mayor and City Commission do hereby proclaim, whereas in 1872, the Nebraska Board of Agriculture established a special day to be set aside for the planting of trees, to be designated as Arbor Day, and was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and world. And whereas trees are important in combating climate change by moderating temperature, generating clean air, and life-supporting oxygen, and providing habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees increase property values, enhance economic vitality, beautify our community, and contribute to the health and well-being of its residents. And whereas Royal Oak's long-running support of urban forestry and ecological stewardship are bolstered by collective actions of community partners, including the Royal Oak Nature Society, the Royal Oak Environmental Advisory Board, and numerous other schools, churches, businesses, and civic organizations. And whereas a generous gift by the Herb Family Foundation will greatly enhance the community arboretum and provide opportunities for the community to celebrate, enjoy, and learn about the value of trees. And whereas the City of Royal Oak recognizes the incalculable value of trees and commits to continue its support of such efforts. Now therefore be it resolved, I, Mayor Fournier, and the Royal Oak City Commission does hereby proclaim Thursday, April 24, 2025, as Arbor Day in the City of Royal Oak, and urges all citizens to celebrate the day with tree plantings and other activities as persistent reminder of the priceless gifts provided by trees. Bob, my pleasure.
Thank you.
An honor to hand this to you. In a few words, if you may.
April 24th, yes. So we're having the sort of ribbon cutting on the Fred A. Herb Arboretum that morning. And immediately afterwards, I'm helping set up for the fundraiser for the Nature Society at the Farmers Market. So I'm going to have a very busy day. One of the goals when we started the Arboretum was to try to have every tree native to the state of Michigan either in the nature parks or planted in the Arboretum. You can't plant in a nature park. We are now within 5 trees of making that goal of the 87 species, but maybe more important right now, we now have every oak tree species native to Michigan planted in Royal Oak. So thank you. Come out and look at the Arboretum.
All right. Always something very positive going on in our great city. All right, that brings us to item 6 tonight, which is the approval of the agenda. Does anyone wish to make a motion to approve the agenda? We have a motion by Commissioner Macy. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Herzog. Any discussion on tonight's agenda? All right, with none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye. 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 Those opposed? Motion passes. All right. That brings us to public comment. Just a few quick things before we commence public comment tonight. The City Commission values and relies upon the input of our fellow citizens to help make decisions. Now is the time set aside for you to address the City Commission on any city-related issue, whether or not it's on the agenda. I ask that comments be directed to the City Commission as a whole and not to individual commissioners. The city has made it easier for you to request follow-up on any issue. Simply scan the QR code you see displayed or sign in with staff in the lobby at the meeting tonight before speaking at public comment. A lot of times folks have questions. We'd be here all night if we went into a back and forth. But if you really have concerns and desire an answer, we've created some opportunities to get you a quick answer as soon as possible. If you wish to speak tonight at public comment, please wait until recognized by me, the mayor. Then come up to the podium. For the record, you'll state your name and your address. Please be mindful the City Commission wishes to hear from anyone who desires to speak tonight, so comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker, not per topic, and we have a timer at the podium to help you keep track of your time. If you don't wish to speak tonight, no problem. Always feel free to reach out to us via email or using the QR code, or again, signing in with staff if there's something specific you want an individual commissioner to look at or address. Please note the City Commission typically doesn't respond directly to questions during public comment, but we do write those questions down, and when that topic is in front of us, we will ask those questions to make sure we get those answers. And if your question is unrelated to something on tonight's agenda, again, you can email us, you can do the QR, or you can sign in with staff so we know how to get a hold of you when we get your answer. City staff is taking copious notes. Our city manager will get back to folks as well if the answer requires a more in-depth response. So with that, who's up? I saw a hand right here first.
Thank you. My name is Trish Oliver. I've been a Royal Oak resident since 100 people attended last Tuesday's Planning Commission public hearing regarding the master plan. From that crowd of concerned citizens, 34 people urged planning commissioners such as Char Douglas and Mayor Mike Fournier to not approve the master plan as is. Their concern about your substituting the catch-all term neighborhood residential for single-family zoning. 12 speakers supported the master plan's removal of single-family zoning. Many were YIMBYs that the politicians have recruited, also known as Yes in My Backyard, to get involved to support the master plan. YIMBY is funded by a nonprofit out of San Francisco. They were invited in and embraced by the Royal Oak politicians to undermine the needs and interests of the majority of residents and to justify their predetermined outcomes. That's almost a 3-to-1 ratio of against the master plan as is compared to for the master plan as is. And you, the planning commissioners, voted with the minority. That is unacceptable and reveals the commitment to predetermined outcomes rather than representing the will of the people. This is to advise you once again that since one family, single-family residential land use category with its protections has still been eliminated from the master plan draft, instead substituting the term neighborhood residential, which is code for allowing a variety of new high-density rental units, including duplexes, apartment buildings, and accessory dwelling units that are currently not allowed in one family zone, that the master plan must be placed on the ballot as an advisory question due to the questionable public input process thus far and in order to save single-family neighborhoods. The current master plan draft experiments with our property values, families, and our quality of life when making many extreme and radical changes to the city's master plans and zoning laws. When questioned at the September 16, 2024 Planning Commission meeting, city officials admitted that there is no comparable city in the United States that has successfully made so many changes at the same time. There is no evidence that the proposed changes will result in good outcomes. We heard everything that the consultants and the commissioners said, and the vast majority still agree, and we speak for them, that they need to put single-family homes back in the master plan, not just in the text, but back in the future land use categories and in the future land use map, and not leave it for zoning. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, who's next? We'll go up here.
Good evening, my name is PG. I have a confession to make. Love, I have a secret admirer on Twitter X. And I'm gonna have to tell him that we're married. And we've been married for almost 10 years. Someone brought this to my attention on Royal Oak Acorn, and I'd like to read what they said. But I mean, they had 60 people show up, so they win, right? Forget the other 58,000 people in the city, just the loud, uninformed minority and their paid agitator, PG, who doesn't shut up the entire meeting, but whines about only getting 3 minutes. I have an idea of who this is. Here's the other comment they made. The recent appearance of PG, a somewhat infamous local community activists, are hilarious to me considering all of the conspiracy theories that groups spew about nefarious deals and paid actors. I'm going to say it again. I'm a housewife. Any money that I get comes from my husband. Anything that I want done to my house, we do it together. And I'm disappointed that they would refer to me as an agitator. You know, when I think of an agitator, I think about the old Whirlpool washer that had the super circulator agitator that went just like this. If you're going to call me something negative, make it sound like haute couture, because I am into fashion, I like to dress. Why don't you call me a provocateur? That's not a negative word. A provocateur is someone that prompts people to think and to engage in dialogue. So whoever my secret admirer is, I'm honored, humbled, and I'm flattered that you would be so attracted to me enough to mention me on a site, because if you're talking about me, you're thinking about me. If you're thinking about me, you're talking about me. But fortunately, I'm married. I'm happily married. I met my silver fox over here 13 years ago and 3 months at a Southfield City Council meeting. In June, we've been married for 10 years. I'm happily married. I'm happy to be a housewife. I'm happy to be a community advocate. I'm happy to do everything that I do with the love of my life, because I married my best friend. So his name is, or her name is this correct? ? At Only Grateful Jed. Now, we all know who that is, so I just want to tell, is this correct? ? At Only Grateful Jed. I am happily married, but I am honored and humbled that you find me so attractive. Thank you.
All righty. Okay, who's next? I'm going to go with one of the B-teens. All the B-teens. Can't say tweens anymore. You guys are like, it's been a few years, right?
Yeah. Good evening. Good evening, and thank you for having us. We are here today to represent the B-Teens and advocate for the renewal of the Mow May initiative. We appreciate your approval of this in the past and would like to reiterate our support for it as May approaches to show that we still support this proposal.
Through supporting Mow May, residents will not have to keep their lawns under the requirement during the month of May. This supports the bees and other pollinators by providing food and shelter that would usually be destroyed when you mow your grass. Some plants that might be considered weeds, like dandelions, are an example of these important resources to bees.
Over the past few years, since we have become a bee city and started Mow May, we have garnered more and more support, all of which helps add up and maintain a healthy pollinator population. Mow May would not be required for residents. It would be optional for those who choose to do it to help our pollinators. We hope that you will join us in supporting pollinator population through reapproving this initiative. Thank you.
Wonderful. All right, thank you, B-teens. No Mow May, it's on the agenda tonight. It's been a pretty successful program for a lot of folks in the community. So thank you for all your work that you guys have done on that over the years. It proves that with positive advocacy, you could change anything. All right, who's next? Yes, I see a hand right here. Yep.
Hi, my name's Laura Burge. Do I need to say my address now? Sorry, I didn't catch that part.
Yeah, if you want to.
1116 Ferris Avenue. I'm here to express my frustration that the swings in Lockman Park have been removed and not replaced, even though the project has been completed. This is a photo from this Saturday where you can see the play structure and then the 2 poles for the swings. For 5 years, I have been an active contributor in the Parks Improvement Program. My photo is in the master plan holding a sign that I want an accessible park. I have met with Commissioner Melanie Macy twice in Lockman Park in regards to improvements in 22 and 2024. I have also filled out every park survey that has been put forward. Unfortunately, while I was home with a newborn baby in February 2024, this commission decided it would be a good time to demolish my play structure. The Rehab Board of Appeals rejected the expense of building a new playground in Lockman, and the City Commission agreed with the smaller budget. The commission slated the entire playground to be demolished. When I inquired about this decision, Commissioner Colo promised follow-ups to my emails, but never did provide any insight to his or his board's decisions. I have been advocating for an adaptive playground, but unfortunately, I then had to shift my stance to a baseline request to preserve this existing play structure because of this commission's decision. After demolition began, many parents showed up at the Parks Board meeting in the spring of 2024 to oppose this decision. We were very clear that we wanted the play structure saved. The swings had already been cut off and the ground equipment had been removed. My husband, who's an architect, drew up free CAD drawings for the city and provided them to Commissioner Macy. As a result of that, the city agreed to save the existing structure and modified their plans to match. After speaking with the Park Board at the April 3rd, 2025 meeting, it became clear the city has no plans to replace the swings. I learned this afternoon that the poles will be taken down since the structure is compromised. We have also been told that additional CDBG funds would need to be found in order to replace the swings. It is unlikely we will see those funds as Project 2025 outlines, and I quote, a reset of HUD. It's on page 503. I am an IVF advocate. Both my children were born via IVF. I have a kid with a disability with an IEP. My entire world is on fire right now. All I want to do is take my toddler and my baby to Lockman Park and put the baby in a swing and let the toddler play so I can have a 5-minute break. Lockman is our preferred park because my son cannot physically squint, therefore the overhead cover with the trees is really helpful for us. While the cost estimate is still being determined for this project, the initial budget from 2023 estimated $22,000 for the swings. I'm asking that you start working to find funding for this and get this on your budget for this year and get these replaced this year. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Who's next?
Here you go. Here's your clip.
Thank you. Oh, that's not mine.
I see a hand in the back corner. Sorry, he was first. I'll get you next.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Tom Halleck, former City Commissioner, chaired the Planning Commission for 9 years. You are shortly going to, not this evening, be passing a master plan that had one public hearing that has absolutely no recitations, no studies, no nothing in the back indicating any past successes with the massive changes that you are going to be implementing on our city. Any assertion that it is not massively changing it is, I'm sorry to say this, a flat-out lie. I would have you look at Summary of Actions 1.3.1, where for starters, you change single-family to neighborhood residential. Well, you hired a contractor that specializes nationwide in getting rid of single-family. That's their job. That's why you hired them. The first thing they did was get rid of single-family. How about that? And when it's not single-family, what can you put in that neighborhood? Anything, because it's no longer single-family. Any assertion to the otherwise is not true. And it says in here, 1.3.1, with a focus on observing the scale and character of existing neighborhoods while identifying appropriate areas for missing middle. The scale and character of existing neighborhoods is called single-family. And I would go to next on page 51, 4.1.1. Ensure neighborhood zoning encourages building sizes and characteristics that are compatible with existing and historic buildings. Those are called houses. They're called single-family houses. The only reason you need this language is you are queuing up form zoning in the zoning language. Form zoning is, well, why would you care if it's a 6, 8, 10 unit next to you instead of a house? It looks like a bungalow. That's what form zoning is. Now, it does have other applications, but this is where they're going to be doing this. They're going to be shoving this stuff all through your neighborhoods, and it's all going to be done by form zoning because, gee, it looks like a house, doesn't it? What do you care? And any assertion to the other is simply not the least bit credible because it's in your own writing right here that you're approving. Thank you.
All right. We have... Just like Planning Commission, I just want to remind everybody, this is more like a official court proceeding than it is, as Mr. Casado would say, a football game. The reason why we don't clap or cheer, one, it drags the meeting out a little longer, and two, there may be people that have different opinions, and we don't want to discourage them from coming up and speaking their mind, okay? So let's just a friendly reminder, okay? Yes, ma'am, in the blue shirt, yep.
Hello, my name is Diane Sebelden. Our family's lived in Royal Oak since 1951. Anyway, I had a few things, just three. Two on the sheets situation. And my question is about the overpass at 14 and Coolidge. I don't know if you've discussed it before about the deterioration, the crumbling, rusted condition there, and whether it would end up having to be repaired at some point after, if Sheets is approved after the Sheets construction. Because there will be a point, it was built in 1930, there will be a point when it will need repair. It is in very, very bad condition. So if it's repaired after sheet is constructed, the traffic and all of that road construction is probably going to be a bit of a nightmare. So that was, I guess, a question comment. The other thing about the sheets situation was a thing I read in one of the articles, I guess, about the engineering department who apparently is not in favor of that location based on the traffic report, and I'm assuming the engineers are traffic engineers who are experts in that field, and so I think they maybe should be one of the loudest voices in the room on that. The other thing, completely unrelated, is on the Royal Oak website, I have a suggestion, maybe you've gotten this before, to improve the search capabilities of the Royal Oak website. As it stands right now, I did a simple search in the search window at romy.gov on the word sheets, and I got 0 results. And I went into the Birmingham website, did the same search, and I got a result. And just FYI, the Birmingham mayor would like to be updated on Royal Oak's sheet situation. So just for your information. So the concept here is just to be able to improve the search capabilities so that you can do a simple search. And you know how, as in Google, you get many different kinds of results. It could be a traffic report on talking about sheets. It could be the traffic report. It could be the master plan. But something would come to the top with a very robust search capability on the site. I have to say, I looked at many other cities in our area, and Birmingham was the only one that gave me a result on my search term. So everybody could probably use a bit of improvement on that front. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Tom Horman. I live at 914 Genesee Avenue. I moved to Royal Oak in 1978. First, I'd like to thank Commissioner Herzog for her inspiring invocation. It reminded me of days at First United Methodist when we would sing the hymnal tune that is named Royal Oak. Most people would recognize the words, all things bright and beautiful, all creatures great and small, all things wise and wonderful, the Lord God made them all. Words to think about and live by as we are considering altering the fundamental character of Royal Oak in favor of new classifications, new definitions, new zoning in the master plan. I've noticed something that although the master plan has been over 2 years in development, there seems to be a rush to implement or ignore, depending on the specific project, the draft master plan. We used to have zoning board of appeals. We used to have planning commission meetings. We used to have city commission meetings with adequate public comment. Now it seems like we go directly to planned unit development, where instead of having public input, now the development is in the hands of the city commission and the developer, cutting out the public altogether. So, for all my friends who are thinking about the effects of the master plan on their properties, I would say, well, watch out for the power of the postcard. You know, we used to get informed about items that were coming up before the ZBA, the Planning Commission, or the City Commission if they were within 100 feet of our property. Well, if you look at the proposals in the draft master plan, virtually everybody in Royal Oak, every property owner is within 100 feet, 50 feet, 25 feet of a potential rezoning. So, everybody who's listening, everybody who's watching, please consider very carefully what the effect will be, because When the bulldozers show up next door and the band is playing Nearer My God to Thee, it's a little bit too late for public hearings. It's a little bit too late to look for the lifeboats. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yes, sir.
Well, Greg Pendergrast, I live on Vermont Avenue, 2021. Would like to see a letter sent out to all the residents of Royal Oak. And that letter might say, "Dear resident, the city of Royal Oak has recently completed and approved the new Master Plan 2050 that includes a revised future land use plan. Pursuant to the provisions of these documents and the next step to amend the zoning ordinance, your property has been rezoned from the current one-family residential zoning to neighborhood residential zoning. We have also eliminated multiple family zoning and blended this with single-family zoning into the newly formed neighborhood residential zoning. Neighborhood residential. The previous legal zoning protections of your property defined in one-family residential zoning have been eliminated, and the following added types of housing density will now be allowed in your community. Multifamily units. This will include both apartments and condominiums, townhomes, duplexes, accessory dwelling units. Neighborhood edge. Should your previously zoned one-family residential property now be in one of the new neighborhood edge areas, additional allowable density changes will be promoted. For your reference, an example would be the 42-unit apartment project now under construction at 4704 Rochester Road, which of course now needs some new trees that I heard mentioned earlier. Unified Development Ordinance. Regarding our outdated project approval process that we have used, we have adopted a new Unified Development Ordinance. This now allows us to streamline and improve zoning approvals. It will promote housing diversity, duplexes, multifamily units, and ADUs. It will allow us to bypass the ZBA, the PUDs, and other lengthy approval processes that included resident input and checks and balances. Should you have an issue with any of these zoning changes, please note that the city's upcoming election on Tuesday, November 4th, 2025 will feature openings for the mayor's position and 3 commissioners' seats.
All right, thank you. All right, who's next? Going once? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Katie Scarchilli, 3008 Benjamin. I've lived in Royal Oak since 1987. I pretty much am in total agreement with everything Trish Oliver said. I won't repeat all that, but the biggest concern about the, again, which is consistent here, changing on the master plan, taking out the single-family zoning. We'd like it to please be put back and maintain the area, you know, with the single-family housing. The other question I have, which there's a lot of issues going on, is what is the commission's, like there's a lot of rules, like there's rules for us to come up here and how we speak. What are the rules, and I know someone just is gonna have to send me this, but what are the rules for you guys as commissioners to have a criteria to what the citizens are asking or requesting that allows you to vote, regardless of your own personal opinions? So, do you guys understand what I'm saying? There's rules for you, there's rules for us. I'd like to know what are the rules for you to make decisions regarding what we, as we the citizens, ask you. I don't know if there's a percentage, like Trish was giving you percentages that 30, what was it?
34 people spoke
Right.
against.
Right, so a higher percentage,
3 to 1.
you know, 3 to 1 percentage says they want something. What's your criteria that you have to go along with what the citizens are asking? I don't know what it is. I don't even know if you guys have rules like that. So do you guys understand what I'm asking here? Yeah. Does that exist? No, we don't know. None of y'all have a shaking your head anything. And then the other concern of just total different area was the for the sheets thing. It's just the biggest concern for me personally is the excessive traffic that might cause a lot of problems in that little area up there. Thanks.
Thank you. All right. Anybody else? Ms. Proprotsky in the back.
Good evening. Nancy Poprovsky, concerned citizen for our children's future. I find it disappointing, almost shocking, that an all-Democratic commission is even thinking about voting yes for a predatory $14 billion monopoly, Republican-owned and supported corporation called Sheets. The Democratic Party says to boycott these businesses. So Bernie, Elizabeth, and Kamala ask you to vote no on Sheets. Thank you.
All right.
Awesome.
Who's next? Yes, right now.
So first of all, I want to thank all of you for your public service. This job has to be exhausting. I know we're exhausted at having to follow and watch over things so closely and so carefully. Several things. I have so many notes on the things that I saw that are going wrong with regard to the master plan, and then to sit here and hear more things. I do want to encourage you to look at the city's website. I had a very hard time doing searches on it compared to other communities. I see some missing bios. Commissioner Macy, your bio's not on the city's website. I'm not sure why. You have an impressive one. I found out everybody on LinkedIn, and I could see what everyone's professional backgrounds are. I appreciate the fact that you're appointed based on your professional expertise to bring to the table. At the same time, sometimes it looks as though there could be some conflict of interest in what our planning commissioners and our ZBAs are proposing and pushing versus what might be really good for the community. I will also say the concern, I'm the one that's been presenting the concern for the 11-mile overpass that's crumbling over the years. I've been in this community since 1991. I live in one of the ring neighborhoods in the downtown area. That repeatedly doesn't get addressed because it's owned by an international transportation and it's interstate commerce. I get that. So do we have to wait until an Amtrak train is resting on it, creating so much weight that it crumbles? That just makes us all collateral damage. Please make sure that gets addressed. Thank you for some of the responses I got on that. The other concern I have is with regard to the master plan. I did a lot of Googling and researching, and this whole changing single family to just residential is a movement towards more diverse zoning, and it's gaining momentum, but it's still a relatively new trend, and there is ongoing debate about the best way to address housing issues. So I think it's premature to remove that single-family designation. We fought long and hard for that. We are not racists. We are not trying to keep people out of our neighborhoods. That is not the concern. The concern is incompatibility. Some of the things that have been said, I've got a whole list of things that were pointed out. Oakland County says the DDA isn't being mentioned enough in the master plan. This is all supposed to bring affordable housing to communities, but all we ever see being built are mid to upper income and upper level luxury housing. It was stated that the only place this will take place is at the nodes so that we can get developers to consider residential in with their commercial, but yet, and zoning is going to protect the single family neighborhoods. However, if that's the case, zoning is going to protect us, then there ought to be a moratorium on any new build and any zoning until the zoning changes get done. You cannot change the master plan and the designation until we get the zoning and the design criteria to catch up to what the master plan is going to say. To pass that master plan without a moratorium will be incorrect.
All right, thank you. All right, who's next? Going once, going twice. All right, we're going to close public comment. Just as a quick help on the search function on the website. I just want to let people know the website was absolutely atrocious years ago. We did go with the freer version. That's what we're using now. If you're looking up something like a particular petitioner, it's not going to show up in our normal website because we don't have stuff about individual petitioners in our website. But in the meeting minutes, if you go to agendas and government, you can do a search there and it will show. I pulled it up and I found 5 different meetings. So if you're having problems with, maybe it's an Adobe Acrobat, it's not perfect. I don't want to debate, but I'm just saying if you want to know about a particular petitioner, you can go and look it up in the agenda section. And if that's not working, scan the QR code. We can help you try to troubleshoot why it's not loading on your laptop. But that's the best way to get specific information about petitioners that are doing business with the city, because we capture that in meeting minutes. We don't repost those to the server on the webpage. And then, yeah, just a question came up about how the democratic process works here locally in Royal Oak. So if the question was, do we take a poll of the people in the audience and then determine what that is and vote up here? No. All of us elected members of this body were put here by the community at large. We talk to a diverse group of people, often people that can't make it out on a Monday night or a Tuesday night for planning. My wife is at home taking care of the kids right now. She would not be able to come out here and sit through a couple hours and make public comment. We receive a ton of emails. We do surveys at large, a very scientific survey that goes out. So there's a lot of things that we use to inform our decisions here. And so just the reason why you may see something, if you have a group of people that come to public comment and 10 people say one thing and 2 people say another, well, there's 60,000 people here that can't all be here on a Monday night. So we do our best to take as much information from as many people as possible. Consider the facts. I know sometimes we don't always have the same set of facts, but we have to and can only consider certain things in our decision making as state statute, and facts are a big part of that. So, okay. Anybody else? All right. Well, we'll move on to the next part of our agenda tonight. Thank you, everyone, for making it out tonight and participating in public comment. We are at the consent agenda. Does anyone wish to pull anything off the consent agenda tonight? I see Commissioner Colo.
Item F.
F. Okay. Anybody else?
Item I.
Item I. Took us a few years to start saying item versus number I. We used to say number I a lot. Not you. I know you didn't, but there's a lot more we up here than just you.
I pulled a lot of things. I don't know if I
All right. Anybody else? Okay. Does anyone want to make a motion to approve the consent agenda excluding item F and item I? Give a motion by Commissioner Cheatham. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Hunt. Discussion? All right. With none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right. Motion passes. We'll go with F first. Commissioner Colo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I actually want to hand this over to our city manager, who I think has some updates on this particular motion.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. I do have Kevin Yee, the Department of Public Services Director. He can speak more to the project. And I'll allow him just to briefly introduce the project, and then I can comment on questions of funding.
Good evening. So this project is adding some poles and netting to our Memorial Park baseball field where currently the Leprechauns play. And the netting is going to be put up for safety for both the patrons and the public as the base line runs parallel to Coolidge Highway. So we had Hubbard, Roth, and Clark give us some options to build, put posts in and nettings for this project. And the bid that we're recommending is to use wood poles and 4 wood poles that would run down the baselines and add netting 40 feet tall that would protect both the patrons in the ball field and the motoring public and other public that are walking in the adjacent areas.
The proposed funding was within budget. We had a budget of $200,000. We have a not to exceed amount in the packet. I think with contingency, we're looking at 167 was the bid, with 145 is our estimated without contingency. The Leprechauns are also performing their own improvements. They're building a spectator area that is using pavers as the base. That's going to be located along the third base line. This new netting would protect that. That construction is in process. I believe their intent is to finish that for the forthcoming season that begins late May, I believe. So we do have limited funding for park improvements, of course. And recognizing that this is creating a safety issue for us as well, I've justified a recommendation to reduce the ask of the general fund and split this 50-50 cost-wise with the city's risk management funds, which we do have available fund balance for.
Okay. And so just to make sure we understand, I mean, there's nets there today. They're kind of not maybe as full as they could be. They have some holes in them. And this is a way that will protect spectators at the Leprechauns game, but also for the high school games and the Royal Oak Sandlot League games, all the games that are there, and protect against cars being hit on Coolidge Avenue if there's an errant fly ball as well, or people on the sidewalk and whatnot.
Yes, that's correct. These nets will go about 150 feet further, or 160 feet further down the third baseline, and another 50 feet further down the first baseline.
Gotcha.
So they will extend much further out and will be more protective to the area.
Okay. And this is in conjunction with other improvements that the Leprechauns baseball organization is doing to the park that we get to keep.
Correct.
As part of
they
the
are
contract.
building as the city manager had mentioned, they are building a spectator deck out along the third baseline.
Any other questions? I think it's an interesting use of, I mean, we have a risk management fund, and this seems, and maybe for our city attorney, is it a conflict of interest for me to vote on this if a couple summers ago I was driving down and my automobile was hit by a foul ball? No. Okay, I just wanted to. Yeah, I was sitting with Abby. We were waiting here to turn on Coolidge. All of a sudden, plunk. I'm like, what? And she thought it was funny. I found it less humorous. But, you know, things happen. Went out and bought a lotto ticket. I'm still here. Didn't work out. So
That first pitch he threw almost made it to Coolidge too.
that's true. That's true. You know, all heat, no accuracy. That's how we roll sometimes. All right. Well, we got our explanation. Does anyone want to care to put this one for a vote?
Mr. Mayor, so I'll ask the city manager, do we need to change the resolution as presented?
No, I don't think so, but the cover letter didn't mention the risk management fund. I think that can be handled administratively, though.
Okay. I'll move approval.
All right. Motion by Commissioner Colo. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Herzog. All right. Discussion. All right. With none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. All right, item I, Commissioner Douglas.
Thank you, Mayor. This is just a quick typo correction. The agenda, item I, calls for a license agreement for the Sidewalk Cafe at 400 East 4th Street, but the establishment in question is actually at 500 East 4th Street. So I will move approval of that Sidewalk Cafe with that clarification to the agenda item language.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Douglas. There a second by Commissioner Macy. Any discussion on this one? All right, with none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. All right. Up next, item 9, approval and acceptance of Environmental Advisory Board Annual Report. Ms. Barkman.
I'm really just introducing Mr. Gontina and the other EAB members this evening who are going to take the floor.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I just have some brief comments. Real quickly, as a reminder, the Environmental Advisory Board, affectionately known as the EAB, is a board of 13 volunteers, including 2 students with wide-ranging expertise, advising the city on all things sustainability related. What you have in your packet here tonight is the 2023 and 2024 annual report. There was a fair amount of transition in that time period, which is why the report is a little bit delayed. Despite this, the EAB has continued to be impactful, ensuring that Royal Oak and the community continue to work towards the goals of the Sustainability and Climate Action Plan and meeting our greenhouse gas reduction targets. I'd just like to briefly thank the City Commission, city staff, volunteers, and community members for supporting all of these efforts and making Royal Oak a regional leader in sustainability. Lastly, the biggest event we take on every year is the Oakland County Earth Day event. It takes place right here at our farmers market on April 26th from 3 to 7 p.m. This year's theme of A Journey to Climate Action kicks off with a rally and climate march through downtown, culminating with a vendor fair at the farmers market. New this year is a kids corner and event passport to help engage our younger attendees and make the interaction with the 40+ vendors more meaningful. With that, I would just like to thank you again for supporting the work that we do. We're very excited for the 2025 report and the things that we're working on for this year. Thank you.
Wonderful. Any questions for the Environmental Advisory Board? Commissioner Herzog.
When is that event again?
Just to reiterate, it's April 26th at the farmers market from 3 to 7 p.m.
Is that in the year 2025?
That is this year.
Okay,
Yes.
in the year of our Lord 2025, everyone.
April 26th, in case you didn't hear.
But on a serious note, I serve as the commission liaison or on the board. I've also worked with the board for the past 10 years, and this board has been so invaluable to the city. It's impactful, and it's because of all of that. Their dedication, they bring their professional expertise, their professional networks, all to benefit our city, and they spend hours and hours in our community teaching and advocating for environmental sustainability in our community. So I just want to thank them for all of their tireless work that they do for our community. And also I would like to give a shout out to Miss Zoe Chase, who was a student member on the board, who's now a resident member. She did all our annual report this year.
Oh, wonderful. Great job. Yeah. All right. Commissioner Douglas?
Yes, so you said there's the event starts at 3, but there's a climate march before that. When does it start? Where does it start from? What's the nature of that activity?
Yep, so the rally itself begins at 3 o'clock. That will be speeches by some dignitaries talking about climate action and sort of what we can do to support climate action. That will be followed by a climate march through downtown, which will start at 4 o'clock. That'll culminate at 4:30 back at the farmers market. So both of these events occur at the farmers market is where the rally is. The march starts from the farmers market, returns to the farmers market parking lot, and then at 4:30 is when the vendor fair begins from 4:30 to 7 p.m.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Colo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to echo some of the words that have been said here. The AAB really pushes the city forward in what we do. It started 30 years ago when it was a solid waste board, and now recycling is common throughout the city. Our SCAP was a direct product of the hours and hours and hours of hard work that the AAB put in. And not only that, but the expertise that exists on that board. The board is made up of subject matter experts with a wide range of expertise that they bring to us that really drive everything that the city is doing forward when it comes to environmentalism. So you all work hard. It's a working board. You don't just make the recommendations, you go out there and you enact them and you make it happen. So thank you, Mr. Cartina and the entire EAB.
Thank
you. Okay, Commissioner Herzog?
I have one more thing to say. One of the outcomes of this past year has been that the student members on the board who came the past 2 years wanted voting to be able to vote on the things that impact their city. And so we passed, is it an ordinance? It's to allow students to vote on commissions and boards that they're on. And so, and they were part of the B team, so they're really helping us push policy in the city. So we're thankful for them.
All right, anybody else? I'll just add, the EAB here in Royal Oak, you guys have been on the front line making a tremendous amount of positive change in this community. And unfortunately, given some of the political volatility we see at the federal level, it's going to be even more important to have folks on the front line, at least doing the good work we can do within the four corners of this city. So very grateful for each and every one of you, all the hard work that you put in. And I know this community at large and other communities that try to mirror and mimic what we're doing here with you guys, I think is a great thing and needed more than ever. So thank you. All right, let's give a round for the EAB. Thank you. Thank you. All right, we have to receive this report. There is a proposed resolution. Commissioner Herzog, motion to receive or approve? Hereby approves and accepts the Environmental Advisory Board report. Very good. Second by Commissioner Colo. All right, discussion. I think we had some. All right, call for the vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion passes unanimously. All right, that brings us to the last item on tonight's agenda, which is a resolution supporting No Mow May. And for those of you who may have misheard me, we're not saying we're getting rid of the month of May. This is a completely different thing. Although it is my birthday month and I would love to not age another year, this is a really cool thing we've been doing for a few years in Royal Oak. And I see Ms. Brash, she's not here tonight, so Ms. Markman's going to take over. The floor is yours.
Thank you.
Kick it off.
This is No Mow May. You guys have approved this in the past few years. As the B-Teens mentioned all of the benefits earlier, I'm not going to reiterate those. But this resolution does take the action of allowing code enforcement not to write people tickets for the month of May for not mowing their lawn. This is a time when the lawn normally grows, as we've gone through April showers, and it's an important step. So that's what this action is this evening.
Any questions? Commissioner Herzog.
Is the city still selling the cute little signs for people's yards?
Yes, I believe they will be available. Ms. Davids may be able to correct me at the event on April 26th.
What time and where at? What you got?
I believe it's April 26th at 3 o'clock.
Okay, any other questions? I heard that No Mow May can give you hives. Is that true?
I'm not a doctor, so I guess call your physician.
Beehives.
I got what you were going. I was trying to back up.
Come on, we're getting to the bottom of the barrel here.
We really
I used all my good bee jokes last year, so. Commissioner Hunt?
Thank you, Ms. Bergman. We've been doing No Mow May for the last few years now, and I know one way of tracking how many people actually participate is by the purchase of the lawn signs, but you can participate without the lawn signs. Okay. And do you know approximately how many people, or if there's an increase in participation over the years?
500?
500.
Come on up, Miss Davids. Judy handles a lot more of the sales of the signs than I do.
Yeah, we've sold about 500 signs since its inception. So, that's accumulative, but we assume that the people that bought them the first years are still using them.
So
that
do you
makes
see
sense.
an increase year over year?
We're selling more signs every year for sure, but the first year we sold the most signs.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Commissioner Colo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Every year this creates a lot of buzz in the community, right? Thank you. But I also think it's smart that it is creating awareness, right? You don't necessarily have to go the entire month of May without mowing your lawn. That's fine. If you have to mow your lawn, I know mine, I think we mowed about May 15th because it was just way too much. I almost lost my little girl in it. Like, it got nuts. And it became mostly weeds. It was bad. But it's fine because we're raising awareness. And I've talked more about bees in the last 4 years than I think I have in my entire life before that. I think we're all learning a little bit more each time the bee teens come out and help educate us. And just as a community, we're thinking more and more about this. So we think about bees, that leads us to think about monarchs and natural pollinators. So this is, participate, don't participate, but we continue to grow as a community every year that we do this.
Yeah. A good point is now we have on 13 of May, the bee park, and then we have hives in Normandy Oaks. And so, you know, it takes these cycles of awareness to oh, do we not anymore?
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, we did. And so, you know, we have a natural oak savanna in Normandy Oaks, and that produces a great environment for pollinators. So I think we've, through the work, again, of positive advocating, we've seen a lot of good change in awareness in the community. So it's good. Commissioner Macy.
The other thing I always want to clarify every year when we talk about this is that the parks are going to still be maintained, and if you see them grow longer, that's because it's just been raining a lot. We are not doing no Mow May for the parks. Please do not yell at us about that. But it is true also that to the extent that our pollinator park on 13 in Main, if we let that grow a little bit longer, that's not one where we see kids running around in the grass that often. That makes sense for it to be a lower mow situation. But no Mow May is, again, entirely optional. It's not required either of residents or of the city in any of the places that you see grass. But, you know, I have a bee teen, and so I only mow when she's not in the house in the month of May, or I get in a lot of trouble. But I'm the same as Commissioner Colo. I can't go the whole month. So I do a low Mow May.
Any Mow comments? No?
I got it. I thought you were done and you weren't.
No, I still got, it's a gift. Commissioner Colo wants to beat me. I know it stings. Can't. All righty.
Way to wing it, Mayor.
That's right. I like it. See, everybody's getting in. Spreading awareness with every pun.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else? Anyone want to move forward the resolution? Commissioner Macy. We have a motion by Commissioner Macy. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Herzog. Discussion. I'll just say your teen is an A teen. Okay, I wouldn't put her in the B level. I think she's a pretty remarkable person, but you know, whatever conflict that creates at home. Yeah.
We're signing the bundle. Let's go.
All right, all right. No other comments? All right, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, passes unanimously. All right, that brings us to item 11, which is a favorite motion by certain individuals up here. Does anyone wish to move to adjourn? We have a motion, or do we?
Motion to adjourn.
We have a restrained motion to adjourn by Commissioner Herzog. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Douglas. Any lengthy discussion regarding this motion? All right, with none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. Adjourned.